What if the goal you're chasing is keeping you from the alignment that you're called to? Welcome to Work It Out Wednesday. I'm Karen, and today we're going to talk about something that's important to me and hopefully to you as well. You're successful. You've checked all the boxes, you've climbed the ladder, but along the way, you feel like something is starting to shift. That achievement that once gave you that drive doesn't feel, doesn't carry the same weight anymore. And you have this nagging in the back that's saying, is this really all that I'm supposed to do? And here's the thing, success fills your resume and your calendar, but it's that significance that's going to fulfill your soul. And I want to, I want you to think about when those two things are not, think about when those two things are not aligned. when your when your success and your significance or your idea of significance, when those two things are not aligned, that is when burnout creeps in. That's when decision fatigue takes over. And you may start to wonder if all this hard work is actually building the legacy that you want to leave behind. So here's the picture I want to paint for you. We're making over 30,000 decisions a day. And this is research from the Harvard Business Review. From what to wear to which clients to prioritize or how to handle difficult conversations with your teams every single day. Here's what happens when your decisions are not rooted in those things that matter to you, they can start to drain you. You begin to operate on autopilot and you find yourself in reaction mode as opposed to responding. And there's a cost, not just decision fatigue, but this costs billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars in lost productivity due to this burnout. And if you're a woman in leadership, these statistics are even more poignant, because we're carrying that dual burden of work and home more often than not, and that puts us at a higher risk of burnout. So the question I want you to sit with today, what decisions are wearing you out that are actually not aligned with what matters to you most? Right? What if you've been so used to focusing on climbing the ladder that you never stopped to ask if that ladder was leaning against the right wall? So let's talk about the difference, because this is where the pivot happens. Success can be about metrics, titles, income, recognition, performance, whatever that is to you. It's what other people see. It's what gets celebrated at the company meetings. Significance is about impact. It's that legacy, the purpose, the alignment with your faith, who you're becoming in this whole process. It's internal, and it's what God sees. And Knowing that difference between success only and significance, you can ask yourself a couple of questions. Success will say, did I accomplish it? But if it's significant, you're asking, does it matter? How is this affecting me, my family, my community? If you're just solely focused on success, you're like, you know, look at me, look what I built. Again, significance is a little deeper, you know, who am I serving? Who am I becoming? Right? So here's where it gets real. You can be wildly successful, you can be wildly accomplished, but at the same time, unfulfilled. You can have that corner office and still feel empty. I mean, your KPIs, you're crushing it. And you're still wondering, does any of it matter? But when you operate from significance, your success is a byproduct. It's not just a goal. That achievement comes, but they come as the overflow from a life that is aligned with purpose, right? So I want you to pause right here and try this. Think of one decision that you're wrestling with this week. It doesn't have to be life changing. Maybe it's a matter of whether to take on an extra project or to attend a networking event, maybe signing up for another committee or having that conversation that you've been avoiding since last October. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to walk through an alignment audit. This is where you name it clearly. No hiding behind vague language. Name it clearly. Um, is this your calling or is it something that's just on your calendar? And consider the legacy impact. What fruit will this produce in your life, your business, right? And assess your resources. Can you do this with excellence? Can you do this without sacrificing your time? Can you do this without sacrificing relationships? So name it, check the alignment. Does it have impact? And assess your resources. And then decide from a place of peace whether or not to pursue. Let the Holy Spirit guide you toward those things that are aligned and away from those things that are just noise. And here's what I know. When you're not created just to be busy, you are created to be purposeful. You weren't called to do everything, but you want to do those things that matter to you and for the kingdom. And when you start to filter your decisions through the lens of significance instead of just success, you should feel a shift. For one, you won't be as exhausted, you have more clarity, and you have more peace. And this is the place where legacy can start to take shape. Matthew 7:16 tells us that by our fruit we'll be recognized. Let me ask you, what kind of fruit is your life producing now? Is it the fruit of alignment or one of burnout and shallow relationships? Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember your resume. They're not going to remember all those hours you worked, how many promotions you earned, but they will remember your impact. How they will remember how you made them feel, and they will remember how you showed up. and not just showing up for a meeting, but how you showed up for those moments that matter. That's what people remember. Again, that one decision, just one, through the audit, see what happens, take notice of what shift, pay attention to the clarity that comes when you start reacting and start responding from a place of peace and purpose. And if you realize that you've been building a life of success only without significance, this is your awakening. That's the Holy Spirit saying, there is more for you than this. And that awakening is your first step towards your pivot. You don't have to keep climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. So let's work it out together. If this message stirs something in you I want to invite you to do 3 things. Share this episode, join the conversation over on LinkedIn. So if you're ready for your own pivot and you're ready for alignment, let's talk. I work with accomplished leaders just like you who are ready to build a life and a career that honors both their calling and their creator. You can find me at grindstonecoaching.com or send me a message right here. I am Karen. I'll see you next Wednesday.